Right then, so as people probably know who watch this channel, I'm not a huge fan of the whole Misfits concept, but to be fair, I do watch their big cards where there are some, decent, well-known influencer boxers fighting, and I think that this is a card which is, pretty intriguing for some people, to be honest. So I'm going to go through the entire card, give my prediction for every single fight on the Misfits Qatar Supercard. It probably is one of Misfits' best cards, probably is the best ever card, if I'm being honest. So yeah, we're going to go through the whole card now. Let's get right onto it. So we've got, kicking off the show, we got Amir Anderson versus Niraj. I don't know why Amir Anderson isn't just turning pro, to be honest with you. He had a great amateur background. He's a very experienced amateur. I don't see him losing this. I think, he's probably one of the best guys on Misfits, to be honest with you. He's one of the most experienced guys on there, probably the most experienced guy on there overall. He should be a pro fighter at the end of the day, Amir Anderson. He should be. I think Amir Anderson's absolutely going to run through this guy, if I'm being completely honest. Amir Anderson's going to completely run through him. Yeah, I think Amir Anderson's going to win. I'm going to say round one knockout. He's got good power in his hands. He can box nicely as well. As I said, don't know why he's not just staying as pro, really, to be honest with you. But yeah, he's getting paid big money here, I guess, though. But yeah, Amir Anderson's going to win this easily. There's just not really any test for him, though, if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, Amir Anderson, round one, easy work. Okay, next up, we've got Pineda versus Swarms. Who's going to win this? It's a fight that I know a lot of people want to see, to be fair. Both guys kind of memes, if we're being honest. I think Pineda's going to win the fight. I think Pineda uses his range all right. I mean, I feel like it's difficult to really rate down influencer fights, but I think with Pineda, he's more experienced than what Swarms is. Swarms got knocked out by Ed Matthews in 17 seconds in his last fight. Swarms hasn't really got a chin at all. I find it strange the way he throws his backhand as well. But yeah, I think Pineda wins the fight. I think Pineda wins. He's too experienced. That's what's going to win it for him. I think Pineda's probably going to knock him out as well. I'm going to say round 3, Pineda wins. Yeah, I reckon Pineda wins this round 2 or 3. I'll say round 3, Pineda. I'll give Swarms a little bit of time in there. But now Pineda's going to get him out of there, I do think. Too experienced, and yeah, he'll just keep him at bay, pick his shots off. Pineda will win by knockout. That's what I'm saying. Okay, next up, we've got Chase Demore versus Kels. Yeah, Chase Demore, he's an... I mean, let's be real. Funny guy, I'm not going to lie, but he ain't great, if I'm being completely honest. He's 2-4, I think. I mean, he's been looking better as he goes on, to be fair to him. Chase Demore's making improvements in his game. I believe he's had a pro fight recently as well against a boxer where he won in the first round, Chase Demore, against some really... I wouldn't even call the guy a boxer, though, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think Chase Demore will win. I think Kels will win this fight against Chase Demore. I think Kels will win. Chase Demore's putting his mind to it, but I think Kels wins. I'm going to say this goes to distance as well. I reckon they'll slug it out. Close decision, but Kels looked all right from what I saw of him. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kels points decision. That's what I'm going to say. Okay, next up we got Lil Crack versus Yadi Gang TV. They both have fought before, actually. This is like in the lightweight tournament eliminator final. Yadi Gang TV won the first fight. I'm going to say he wins the second fight as well. I think he's pretty good, to be fair. He's light on his feet, lands some decent counts as well. I think Yadi Yang TV's got good footwork. I think Lil Crack is decent as well, from what I've seen. I think they're both decent. The first fight wasn't too bad, but yeah, I think Yadi Yang TV's gonna win. I'm gonna say points. I think his counters are good. I think Lil Crack is gonna make similar mistakes. I think he's gonna walk onto a few shots. And yeah, Yada Yang TV will get this win, in my opinion. points. Lil Crack can win. I wouldn't fully rule them out, but yeah. Yada Yang TV's beaten before. Don't see why he can't win this again, in my opinion. So yeah, Yada Yang TV wins. Next up, we've got Nick Lamau versus Warren Spencer. We're getting onto the fights where they get more interesting now. Nick Lamau or Warren Spencer? Nick Lamau, I think he's decent. I think Nick Lamau has actually got a fairly entertaining style. I thought he looked good against Jay Swingler. Obviously, he fought in like a fatal four-way boxing fight. I mean, that was an absolute embarrassment, if we're being real. He won it. He won it. I think Nick Lamau, he's got some good, wild, explosive moments, and he actually times them quite well. So I think Nick Lamau can be, I reckon he could prove to be a bit too much. I think he's got some decent volume as well, Nick Lamau. I think with Warren Spencer, I think he just gets really, really wild. And I think every time he's actually fought people who are half decent, like Ben Williams, and who was it again? Aaron Chalmers, yeah. He loses, and Nick Lamau is someone who's decent. I think Nick Lamau will win, probably overwhelm Warren Spencer at times. I reckon Nick Lamau will win this on points. They'll go the distance. Spencer will get some success here and there, but overall, I think Nick Lamau will probably end up outworking Warren Spencer and will probably win a decision. That's what I'm going to say. It was meant to be Jay Swingler. I'm gutted about that. I was actually pretty excited to see a rematch between Jay Swingler and Nick Lamau, but yeah, it's what it is. Warren Spencer is a good replacement, but yeah, I think Nick Lamau wins this fight. Decision. Okay, next up, we have got Jarvis versus Ben Williams. This is an interesting fight. I reckon these two are two guys who are pretty good, who were pretty good technical wise, to be fair. Two of the best technical influencer boxers, I think. Jarvis is good. Ben Williams is good. Who do I think wins the fight? I'm going to be going with Ben Williams to win the fight. I think Jarvis is good. I think Jarvis can win. I think it's a difficult one to pick. But I think Ben Williams is really light on his feet. He moves very nicely. And I think Ben Williams is probably the harder puncher as well, which can win him this fight. I think Ben Williams has that little bit more sting on his punches, which I think could trouble Jarvis and push him back. And I think Ben Williams could be able to outwork Jarvis at times as well. But, I mean, Jarvis, I think Jarvis can win the fight. But I think experience is on Ben Williams' side. I think that can play a factor. I think Ben Williams' movement could be a bit too much. I think Ben Williams changes angles nicely at times. He can be a bit wild as well, but I think, again, it could also play into his favor. It's not like Jarvis is an all-round, very clever boxer who can, really time you onto wild moments and just catch you with a straight. No, I think Ben Williams could outwork Jarvis here in this fight. Again, Jarvis will get success, but yeah, I'm going with Ben Williams. He's as I said, he has that extra bit of sting on his punches, which I think could trouble Jarvis. So I'm going to say Ben Williams wins. I'm going to say points. Okay, next up we've got Deji versus Darwood Savage. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I've seen loads of people are disappointed with Deji taking this fight. Darwood Savage, I hadn't actually seen him fight before, but I was going through highlights earlier of like Salt Papy and Warren Spencer and stuff like that. And they've all knocked out Darwood Savage in the very first round. Yeah, Darwood Savage is basically a punching bag, if we're being completely honest. He can't really box well at all, if we're being completely honest. Deji, I actually think Deji's decent. And again, loads of people say if Deji puts his mind to it, then, it'll be good. And I think that is true. I think Deji can cut off the ring nicely at times. I think, good southpaw with some good movement in him, to be fair, Deji. I think Deji's got to get a knockout in the first round here. I'm going with Deji to knock him out in the first round. I think overall, if Deji doesn't knock him out in the first round, then I think it's kind of worrying. But no, I think Deji's going to win in the first round. He's got to as well. Okay, next up we've got HS Ticky versus MSI Warrior. I had a look at HS Ticky opponent, MSI Warrior's bag work earlier, and it was not great at all. HS Ticky is going to absolutely run through this guy. Apparently, he's another Love Island guy that HS is fighting as well. I don't know why HS is fighting these Love Island guys, but yeah, HS is going to absolutely spark this guy out easily. Yeah, Love Island guys shouldn't be able to fight, in my opinion. I don't know why. But no, I think HS will win this fight easily in the first round. HS is good. He's got that good natural ability, to be honest with you. He's got that good natural ability. I feel like he bounces around the ring nicely. He's got that natural power. I think he's going to look even better than what he did the first time. I hope HS has more time to show his skills. But yeah, HS, I think, actually trained properly for this one. He admitted last time he didn't train properly. He knew he'd walk through him. I think that's what's going to happen here anyway, but HS will look even better. Standing in the first round, definitely. I think I think he manages his range well, and I think that's what's going to do it, basically. MSI Warrior is just going to be walking into shots, and HS is just going to catch him with a big one. It's not really going to take much effort for HS to win this, in my opinion. Just manage the range here, and he'll catch him with a big one when MSI Warrior just runs in my opinion. So yeah, HS wins this round 1. Okay, next up we've got Soul Papy versus King Kenny. Yeah, this is a good fight. Both guys good technically. I'm not gonna lie. Fat Salt Papy is way better than skinny Salt Papy, if we're being real. Salt Papy was much better than when he was fat. I feel like he's kind of fell off a little bit since. But I am going with Salt Papy to win. I don't think he's as good as he was when he was fat, but I think the timing's there from Salt Papy. And I think Kenny's pretty good technically. But I think his issue is that at times he can come forward with his shin really high in the air and doesn't move his head too much. That's the issue with King Kenny, and I can't see him not eventually walking into a shot with Salt Papy where he's always timing you no matter what onto a big shot. And I don't see King Kenny not going down from a big shot from Salt Papy. I think King Kenny will probably be winning the fight before he gets finished, being able to outwork Papy, but Salt Papy's going to be lining a big shot up here, trying to work the jab. And he's going to line a big shot up that Kenny's going to walk onto. And I see Salt Papy finishing him off here. I'm going to say Salt Papy wins this fight. I'm going to say round 3 knockout. I was originally thinking King Kenny, but to outbox him. But then I think Salt Papy's going to catch him. I think Salt Papy, in his last 2 fights against Slim and Ferrari, he's looked a bit more wild in those fights, but his timing's still decent. But to be fair, Ferrari was very wild, so it's difficult for Salt Papy, but eventually was able to knock him out. Yeah, I think Kenny walks onto something. I think Salt Papy can lure him in with his lead hand and bring him onto a big shot. So I'm going with Salt Papy to win this fight, knockout. That's what I'm going to say. I think Salt Papy's got a decent boxing brain on him. I mean, he's been doing it since he was a younger child as well. He's got a decent boxing brain on him, and yeah, I think his timing is very good in my opinion, and that's what I think is going to trouble King Kenny here. King Kenny is good behind his lead hand, but again, I think he can dominate behind the jab at times, King Kenny. But I just see him getting caught with a big shot. I think Salt Papy wins. That's what I'm going to say. Anyway, next up, we get to our main event, and that is Anisong Gib versus Slim. I am going with Anisong Gib to win this fight. Yeah, people have been saying it's very 50-50. I mean, Slim can't win. I mean, the thing is with Slim is, I think... Sorry. I think with Slim, he can look very sloppy, but he always finds a way to win. He always finds a way to win after looking sloppy in his fights at times. He hits hard. He hits very hard, Slim does. And you never know, that could trouble Gib. But I mean, and there are the odd question around Gib's chin as well. But I think a good thing about Nissan Gib is that he's a come forward fighter and can shut down the gap very nicely. And I think his footwork's pretty underrated as well. Gibbs shuts down the gap very well, and I think he does. I think he does occupy the lead hand of his opponent nicely as well. Slim's going to be trying to set up his shots behind his lead hand. But at times, you do see when Gib gets it up close, he lands his shots very nicely. And I think Gib's one of the best combination punches in influencer boxing. And that's going to trouble Slim. I still do question Slim's gas tank. And with Gib, he can keep up a good pace for a good amount of time. He can keep up a good pace from the very first bell to the last bell. And that's what's going to trouble Slim here. Slim's going to get outworked by Gib volume-wise, and Gib can shut down that gap. Slim, I think there's a big chance he can hurt Gib in this fight and have him in a bit of trouble. But I think Gib's going to be able to outwork him, come back, outwork him. And I think his volume could be too much. The pace could be too much. I think there could be the operative clinching here. Gib can really hurt the body of Slim at times as a smaller man. And I think Gib can cut off the ring against Slim. And I think Gib can make it a fairly convincing performance. Slim can get a bit scrappy at times when he gets up close. We saw it against Tom Zanetti. We saw it against Salt Papy when they closed the gap down. Gib's good at closing the gap. He's one of the best at closing the gap down in influencer boxing and throws his combinations well. So I think Gib wins this fight, and he has good volume, can keep up a good pace. I think Gib wins. I'm going to say points. Okay, anyway, they're all my predictions for the Misfits Qatar Supercard. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, thanks for watching.